했어요.
태형이 생일 축하해. 축하해. 너무 가야 되는데 끌려. 태형아 생일인데 어때?
아, 기분 좋습니다.
생일 축하해.
Kim Taehyung's latest live turns into the most emotional moment, as all BTS members wish him a happy birthday. Hello everyone. And welcome back to BTS fans. This space was not created for those who are in a hurry. Not for those who only want quick moments and instant reactions. This channel was created for those who believe that feelings cannot be rushed, because there are stories that cannot be shortened. There are emotions that cannot be compressed. And tonight, we will sit a little longer. We will listen more deeply, because what we are about to talk about is not just a live broadcast. This is about human connection, about time, about togetherness, about love that has survived more than a decade. The live began with simplicity. No grand stage, no spotlight, no dramatic opening music. Just Kim Taehyung in front of the camera with a calm expression. He greeted ARMY like someone coming home. His voice was soft, his movements relaxed, his smile small, yet warm. He was not performing. He was simply present. Taehyung talked about light things, about his day, about how he felt, about small details that rarely make headlines. And that was exactly where the beauty was, because we were seeing Kim Taehyung not as a global icon, but as a human being, enjoying a quiet moment. He laughed softly. He paused now and then. And none of us realized that in just a few minutes, this live would turn into something far more emotional. Kim Taehyung has lived in front of cameras for many years. He knows how to smile. He knows how to protect his image. But that night, there was no distance between who he is and what he felt. And maybe that is why this moment felt so real. The change came without warning. One voice joined, then another followed. Not dramatic, not loud, but enough to make Taehyung fall silent. Because those voices were not unfamiliar. They belonged to the people who had walked beside him from the very beginning. One by one, the BTS members appeared, not as global superstars, not as industry legends, but as 7 people who spent their youth together, who once shared a small room, a fragile dream, a hope that once felt impossible. Then the words were spoken. Happy birthday, Taehyung. A simple sentence. One we hear so often. But coming from them, those words carried the weight of time. Because every syllable held years of togetherness. Every tone carried memories that can never be repeated. Taehyung's expression changed. He smiled. But that smile slowly softened. His eyes filled with tears. He fell quiet. And in that silence, we saw just how much this moment meant. BTS are often called a family. But family is not about big words. Family is about showing up when there is no obligation. And that night, there were no contracts, no expectations, only love, arriving on its own. Taehyung tried to speak. He joked softly. He smiled. But his voice trembled. And he did not try to hide it. Because in front of these people, he did not need to pretend to be strong. For a brief moment, Kim Taehyung was no longer V of BTS. He was not an icon, not a symbol, not a name written in headlines. He was simply someone who felt deeply loved, without conditions, without expectations, without having to prove anything at all. ARMY watching around the world felt it too. Not overwhelming excitement, not loud celebration, not screaming or flashing lights, but warmth. A quiet warmth. The kind that settles gently in the chest. A sense of fullness. A sense of peace. A feeling that is hard to explain, yet easy to recognize. When it arrives, this moment reminds us why BTS are different. Not because of their achievements, not because of awards, charts, or records written in history, but because they choose to remain human in a world that constantly demands perfection. In a world that tells idols to smile endlessly, to stay composed, to never show cracks, BTS choose honesty. Taehyung did not say much. He did not need to. Because his silence was enough. Because the emotions he could not fully hide said everything words could not. Because the tears he held back spoke louder than 1,000 speeches. The live eventually ended. The screen went dark. The voices faded. The notifications stopped. But the feeling remained. Because there are moments that do not end. When the camera turns off. Moments that stay with us. Moments that quietly return when we least expect them. And Kim Taehyung's live that night was one of them. A reminder that behind the stage, behind the image, behind the name, there is a person who feels deeply, loves sincerely, and is loved just as deeply in return. Thank you for sitting with us here at BTS Fans. If you felt the same warmth, if this moment stayed with you, if it reminded you why you fell in love with BTS in the first place, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Because at BTS Fans, we don't just watch BTS. We listen, we reflect, and we feel their journey together. See you in the next story.